The shield is ridiculous. I mean, look at this thing. It's small. The way that it attaches to the hand, it can't really hold it. I mean, like it just falls over if you try to pose it like in front of it, so you just have to like rotate it to on top of like its arm. And yeah, no, that doesn't really work out very well for most poses. It's also like it reminds me of those Velcro shields that you would get like in PE class or whatever, and you would like try to catch the Velcro balls with them. I feel like that's what this is more suited for, rather than blocking a beam saber or something like that. It just seems completely impractical, and I think this should go down as one of the worst things that Gundam has ever made. Hello, everyone, and welcome to this model kit review of the Gyan Krieger. I won't waste any time in getting right into it here. First of all, this review will go over the build, the articulation, the weapons it comes with, and some other thoughts I may have about the kit as we go along through it. So first of all, for a high grade, the amount of detail is astounding. The shoulder pads especially have a lot of molded in detail here. It's nice to see that it has some molded in detail, but not a lot, especially coming from the world of miniature paintings. Or miniature painting, geez. Miniature paintings, like I draw little bloody Mona Lisas or something. No, like Space Marines. So, if you're choosing to pick out these details by hand, you'll have a wonderful time highlighting and taking your time with these because there's not a lot, but there is enough to keep you interested, I feel like, throughout the paint job if you choose to do this by hand. You don't have heaps of color separation with this kit as it's all mostly just one color. However, the detail here does pop. The red and the black accents, especially on the chest here, they definitely do stand out as contrasting between the rest of the kit. I think the yellow, actually, and the lance and the red do go very well. It's more like almost like a creamsicle orange, but I don't know, pale yellow. I don't know. Uh, Moving swiftly along here, though, putting together the kit overall was a breeze. Like, it did have a lot of parts, which I was very surprised about. It's a very dense kit for what it is. It only has one real weakness, which I'll get on a little bit later, but like, I was especially surprised for the amount of parts this kit had, and I know I didn't film the unboxing. I was just working on this before I had the idea to film the unboxing, but the next review will review. The next review will have an unboxing, so don't worry about that. But it was fairly straightforward to put together. The instructions, as always, are laid out fairly well. There was some that were a little weird, like the PC parts in the chest being at an angle and backwards isn't conveyed very well. So just be aware of that you will have to put those things in at like a 45-degree angle and backwards in order to actually fit them in there. Yeah, so I got a little tripped up at that. Overall, though, the build was a fairly smooth process, as I said, and I really wouldn't change too much about it. It does come with a lot of extra parts, which was kind of confusing and kind of annoying when trying to put it together, especially if you're like me and just clip all the parts and throw them in the box and put it together like a giant jigsaw puzzle. Uh, I guess because I'm insane. But with that, it is nice that it does come with some extra parts. But I don't really know what I would use these for. It's like an extra hand plate and a part to a shield that I don't really know what to do with. So if anybody knows what this shield is used for, like leave it in the comments, please, because I honestly don't know. Moving on to the articulation here, I mean, it's a Gundam kit. What would you really expect? It's the action figures we all wanted as children. But really, I want to direct your attention here to Gyan's kicks. His fresh kicks here do not function very well as a model. They 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 look cool, and the toe articulates independently, which is cool. But I mean, a lot of kits do that. I do like the aesthetic, however, they're just not big enough, and this kit is very top heavy. If you couldn't tell already from the bag and the or the backpack. and the giant shoulder pads and the giant chest. It's a very top heavy kit, but when posing the kit, it tends to fall backwards a lot, and I often have to either just put it on an action base, which I mean, if you're gonna pay the aftermarket prices for this kit, then just buy an action base. Like it's what $10 at that point. But I mean, really, the kit is $80 by the way. Price checked on eBay. It's ridiculous. I wouldn't pay $80 for this kit, but I mean, if you really like it, sure. But anyway, I find myself having to pose this kit sideways a lot in order to maintain its center of balance. And that's kind of limiting without a base. With an action base, you can obviously get a lot more dynamic poses. That's goes without saying. However, I believe this kit is really going to need it. And another issue that I have with it is if you look at the back of the kit here, the butt cape, and I believe that's a technical Gundam term, causes some minor issues, as well as you can't really bend the legs back, like straight back all the way, or else it'll hit the butt cape. The kit can't really sit down very well, which is another issue that I have, especially with a lot of the poses that I want to do with like these dumb couches and stuff. I can't do it with this kit because it's just too fat, and that butt cape just sticks out way too much. The hands as well are very limiting, being just fists that can hold. Just I mean they can hold generic like Gundam weapons, but I would have rather seen an open hand option as well, just for posing, so you can do single weapon poses and stuff, and not have the Krieger just be holding a fist. Um, just to see some more dynamic poses there. Uh, the Krieger, moving on to the weapons now, the Krieger only has two weapons, the shields and its lance. And the shield is bloody awful, but you guys already know how I feel about that from the intro. The lance is pretty cool. I thought having it being able to be gripped at two separate spots was kind of cool instead of just having one long shaft. The scale of the lance is pretty cool. I like how large it is. I like the overall aesthetic of it. I like the handguard hilt thing. The like, yeah, that's pretty cool. But yeah, overall, I mean, like the weapon doesn't it doesn't come with a whole lot, so you're really just buying the kit for the kit. The weapons itself, unless you just really like the lance, which there's another kit with a lance, which I'll post a picture of, I believe from Iron Blooded Orphans, which is slightly smaller, but it looks like exactly the same to me, uh, except maybe a different color, slightly different handguard, and I would rather just go with that kit. I like the look of it better, and the Iron Blooded Orphans kits so far from the ones that I've built have gone together a lot better than this, if I'm being honest. Um, so yeah, if you want a lance, just go with that. Unless you just really like this aesthetic. But my final thoughts on this kit, is it worth your time? If you really like the kit, yes. If you want to just build it to build it, then sure. Um, but I wouldn't pay $80 on eBay or like an aftermarket price for it unless this thing comes back out on P-Bandi. Just skip it, if I'm being honest. It will stand out in your collection with it having this very knightly kind of Dark Soulsy, dark fantasy aesthetic. But again, it's for $80. I can't really recommend anybody just go out and buy this kit whenever you can go and get a master grade for $50 and you'll get, more time and value out of it. So overall, I enjoy the kit, but it's not really worth it. Anyway, y'all have a good day.